Today I'm going to look at questions that have recently been posted on Amazon's forum and Reddit and provide my opinion and responses to what other sellers are asking. For those of you that don't know, my name's Anton and I'm an experienced Amazon seller. I've created multiple businesses, having recently sold one of those for over 7 figures. So getting straight into it, Alex, do you want to give me the first question? For those of you guys watching, Alex is just sat behind the camera to the left of me, hence why I looked in that direction. In case you're wondering, I'm not just looking at a blank wall.
How important is customer service on Amazon?
It's a good question, and I wouldn't say importance of customer service just in relation to Amazon. I think customer service is imperative throughout any business journey, and it should always be your priority to ensure you offer the best level of customer service in what industry you're involved in. Now, relating that to Amazon, I think they implement a fantastic system that allows you to put in good practice to really maintain your customer service levels. You have to typically respond to a customer within a 24-hour period. Failing to do that, and it will actually affect your own performance score as an Amazon seller. And you can see that on the Amazon dashboard where it will break down your overall ratings. If you sell through FBM, you need to be more on top of this than you would be if you sell via FBA, because Amazon actually can assist to certain measures with customer service, because as they fulfill most items for you, if there are queries from customers relating to where their item is, Amazon will usually take responsibility for these. Now, of course, if you're fulfilling the products yourself, ultimately the responsibility does lie with you. So it's important you do maintain it.
Question 2, and this one was from Reddit. Is it difficult to sell on Amazon?
Is it difficult to sell on Amazon? Well, how long's a piece of string? That's the only way I can answer that. And I think I've actually said that in the previous Q&A, because it's a great answer for all those questions when there's not a definitive answer to give. It's how committed are you to wanting to sell? How much time and effort are you going to put into it? If you spend a lot of time studying and understanding how to use the platform and put together the best strategy, the amount of sales that you can achieve are endless. You can become a 7-8 figure business on there. If you want to do this as a side hobby, which I don't recommend because it should be something you dedicate your time to, as with anything else you do, then you're not going to really see those sales if you're only doing it half-heartedly.
Okay, question 3. Again, this one was from Reddit. Before selling a product, how do I ensure compliance?
How do you ensure compliance? These questions are great, you know. These need to be coming in on a regular basis because they're actually challenging me to give you guys the best answer. But this is a question that, as a seller, you're always going to be continually learning for the answers. I'm definitely a culprit to this, and I made a lot of mistakes because I wasn't compliant when I actually started selling on Amazon myself, which isn't great, but you know what, I'm glad that Amazon have the infrastructure in place to allow you the support to grow and learn on the actions you need to take. Ultimately, it comes down to the category that you're listing yourself in. So I was in health and beauty initially when I very first started selling on Amazon. Of course, I expanded and evolved out of that as I built up my brand. And there were always new areas that I needed to explore and learn what the levels of compliance are. But what I would suggest you do initially is, depending which category you're starting with, use the Amazon FAQ section, because that's where you're going to get the most amount of information. Once you've created your Amazon business seller account and you're getting yourself ungated for that particular area, you can use those couple of days to research into what compliance issues you might have to overcome and allow that to kind of be prepared and get yourself through the system quite easily.
So would you recommend people buy a product and then get compliant, or before they make the first initial purchase for their stock get compliant?
So as I mentioned, it's not a case of the product itself, it's dependent on the category. Now, I'd assume if you're wanting to sell on Amazon, you're already going to have an idea of what you're wanting to sell. You might not have the product in place, you might be in the process of having placed the order, which is absolutely fine. But you don't necessarily have to have the product available to begin. While you're waiting for that, while you're placing the orders, while you're getting yourself ungated to get on Amazon, use that time to learn about it. I think it's good practice to pay and get an Amazon account set up because you want to learn how to use the platform. You want to give yourself the best opportunities possible. Your business is an investment, and also you can see yourself as an investment. So let's say you pay the 1 month fee, the £25 to have an Amazon business account, and you do your research and your reading, and you find out that, you know what, it's not the right time for you to start selling on Amazon. Well, it's not a loss, because you've learned that information for when you are ready to do it, once you've got all the information prepared. You don't have to jump in on the deep end immediately. You can take your time and get yourself prepared.
Another Reddit question, question 4.
Yep.
My sales suddenly started dropping. What can I do?
Your sales started dropping. Well, first...
Suddenly started dropping.
So my response to that question would be a question with another question and ask, do you sell seasonal products? Because I can give the easiest answer for that if it is the case. It might just be out of season. Your products might be swimming shorts. People aren't wearing swimming shorts in the middle of the winter, are they? So that can give an easy response to that. But moving aside from that, you know what? It's important to always ensure you're ticking all the boxes on Amazon. So that can include customer service, as we just previously discussed. It can be ensuring reviewing customer reviews. You know, have you had any recent negative reviews that customers may be picking up on and questioning that? And that's one of the best places to always try and learn and find ways to grow your business, because you can pick it up from by looking at what customers are writing in their reviews. You can take that information and have it as feedback and provide it to your manufacturers or your suppliers and say, look, a customer's particularly unhappy with X, Y, and Z. Let's fix it for the next order. So that when you launch the products, those aren't going to be ongoing concerns. Equally, review your product description. You know, it might not be as up to date as your competitors. There could be new competitors on the market, which means that they have a better listing than you, and yours needs work to improve on it. At the end of the day, it's always advertising, however you choose to look at it. Equally, look at your paid campaigns. Are you investing enough into your Amazon PPC campaigns? You know, are you utilizing the functions that are available for you on the platform? You know, take that step back and assess all areas, because there are always ways around it. I wouldn't point the finger at Amazon and say, oh, people are leaving the platform, because it's not the case. Millions of people are using it on a daily basis. If your item's not seasonal and you're seeing sales 2-3 weeks before and suddenly they've dropped, it's not a case that people have just got bored of that particular item. It doesn't work like that. So it's more of a case of seeing what you might have done wrong, or areas that you might have fallen behind on that you can take the time to review and improve on.
I think a big problem is that people see Amazon as sort of a static thing, when it's definitely not. It's always changing. Everything's changing. If you just think you can have the same listing in 2019 that you have today, then it's just not going to work, is it? Yeah,
I completely agree on that. And even the strategy that you implement. When I first started back in 2015, the strategy that I began with has completely evolved. Things that I was using when I first began, I had to completely get rid of, because it was just obsolete. It was not necessary and it didn't work. You know, customers' tastes are always changing, and it's important that you adapt to that. Always see what's going on in the news in relation to your product. Have a look, see what's going around you. Go into retail stores, see what retail stores are doing on the shelves with customers' items, and see what you can take from that, learn and evolve.
And the final question, this was from the forum. How do I ensure I have enough stock at Amazon fulfillment centres?
How do you ensure you've got enough stock at Amazon fulfillment centres? So, if you're a new seller on Amazon, of course, that is going to be slightly trickier, because you've not got enough sales history to use the data that Amazon provides to you. So let's start with that. If you are an experienced seller, the easiest answer that I can give is use Amazon reports. You know, they provide an abundance of information for you to look at. You can download reports and apply it to see how many items you're selling on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and a monthly basis. And you can roughly get an average for how many units you are selling over a monthly period, and place your orders based on that. Now, it depends how quick your manufacturers are and of course where they're based. If you're using manufacturers overseas, you need to think much more long term and plan for the future. Whereas if you're working with a local manufacturer who might be around the corner and can get you items relatively quickly as and when you request them, then you don't need to order as much. Now, if you're a new seller, of course you don't have that information to hand. So you're just going to have to take a pretty good guess at how well you think your product's going to perform. If you have limited budgets and you don't have the money to put into marketing and you're not expecting a huge amount of sales, then start small. I've always said the best problem that you can ever have on Amazon is running out of stock. Why? Because that tells you you've got a good product and people want it. The demand is always going to be there. It's just how well you can manage that in terms of ensuring you have good flow of stock continually going through the system. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Alex and I chose these questions from Amazon's forum and Reddit. It's questions that we've seen come up time and time again, so we thought this was a good opportunity to answer those for you. But of course, if you've got any specific questions, feel free to comment in the comment section below. If you haven't already, then hit the subscribe button and give this video a like. You know, the support we receive is greatly appreciated and allows us to continually put out more videos for you. It tells us that we're doing the right thing, you know. You're finding this information helpful, and you know that's the best thing that we can give at this time. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you again for the next video.